I'm ashamed. You will not hear the words "Roll Tide" in an affectionate manner from me for the rest of this season. It was an embarrassment. It was disgusting. Those players should have bags over their heads walking around campus all week long. They should be ashamed of their damn selves. And Kalen DeBoer, it's fair to say this. You've won 90% of your games as a head coach at 4 different institutions, including winning 2 NAIA titles, if I remember correctly. You were in the national championship game. You were back-to-back Pac-12 Coach of the Year when you were at Washington as well. You are no Nick Saban. You are no Nick Saban. I didn't like the fact that you gave up a 28-0 lead and let Georgia come back before Jalen Milroe pulled off a miracle the way that he did last week. I didn't like that. But to go to Nashville, Tennessee, to play against a Vanderbilt school that was 0-60 against top 25 opponents, Shannon. 0-60, okay? 50 of those losses were by double digits. By the way, they hadn't beaten Alabama in 40 years. They were on a 23-game losing streak to Alabama. And you roll up in Nashville and you go up against Vanderbilt, okay? And you lose to them who were 2-2, okay? I mean, it is disgraceful. It is embarrassing. And you clearly was feeling yourself from the Georgia. You went in there and you did something a Nick Saban team never did, which was take an opponent for granted. He didn't allow it. Times are different. Kalen DeBoer had an opportunity to really establish it's a new era in Tuscaloosa. It's a new era. And he dropped the ball. This is a disgrace. Horrible. And you could blame, I saw you blaming Nick Saban, and I know we'll go there, Paul Feinbaum. But let me tell you something, because I don't know why Nick Saban said what he said when he talked about the only easy road in the SEC was through Vanderbilt a couple of weeks ago. That came back to haunt him, that used them as bulletin board material. Fair enough. But damn it, it's Kalen DeBoer's job to make sure they didn't do it. And he didn't. What a disgraceful loss. It's not going to happen, but if Alabama ended up missing the playoffs because of this, I wouldn't blame him. That's how bad and disgraceful this loss was.
Nick Saban would have won that game against Vanderbilt. Are you Paul in or Paul out?
I am Paul in. Nick Saban would have never lost a game like that. He did lose his first year to Louisiana Monroe, but he had a 6-7 team, and he had inherited a 6-7 team, and he had a 500 team that year. But you know something? I am going to blame this game on Nick Saban for the reason that Buster Olney just said. Did you remember what he said? What Saban said 2 weeks ago? He said the only place you play in the SEC that's not hard is Vanderbilt.
Yikes.
That went up on the bulletin board. They played it all week. So Nick Saban, this is your fault. You cost your former team the win yesterday against Vanderbilt.
He's going to get this tape, you know. What's crazy to me is that in the 4 games Nick Saban coached against Vanderbilt, his defense has allowed 13 points combined. Yesterday, Bama's defense allowed 40. That's insane.
Remember last week after the Georgia game, Kirby Smart was talking about how difficult it is to defend the Alabama offense, to stop number 4. Well, I think we just got shown what the game plan is. It's not all up to the opposing defense. It's the offense that has to participate as well. And you mentioned it, 42 minutes of time of possession. They were absolutely lights out on 3rd down and being able to continue to possess the football. Only 46 plays for Alabama. And it's not only difficult to score a lot, but you have a very little margin for error. 2 turnovers take away possessions as well. One of those a pick 6 that we got a chance to see. And Dari, I want to admit something, because you and I, after the halftime interview, and more so me, Clark Lee said, we just got to continue to play Vanderbilt football. I was like, you want to play anything but Vanderbilt football, right? Yeah. Historically.
You flagged me down in the hallway and said, did you hear Clark Lee just now?
Well, do you know what Vanderbilt football is? Let me tell you what Vanderbilt football is. It's 2 penalties on the day. It's no turnovers. It's no sacks allowed. That's exactly how we should think that a Vanderbilt football team should play, right? With as smart as they are and as disciplined as they are to be as good as they are in that school. And that's how they should play.
And if you're not full of 4 and 5-star guys, playing with discipline and doing the little things right is how you win games like this.
No doubt.
They did virtually everything. Diego Pavia still has not committed a turnover through 5 games as a Vanderbilt Commodore.
As much as he's carried the ball, too.
Exactly. He carries the ball. He runs with the ball. He's, I don't want to say he's careless, but he's imaginative with the football, pitching it, throwing the ball on the side. The 4th and 1 here, he made great decisions. There are multiple times when you watch him play that the first read was taken, and he then pivoted and looked downfield. On this play right here for the touchdown on the 4th and 1, he's supposed to throw this ball to the flat, but it was covered. He realized he had a receiver uncovering downfield, put beautiful touch on the football to give this guy a chance, and then score a touchdown. That's maturity. That's maturity as a quarterback.
That's having confidence in your arm and your ability and the weapons around you as well. You talked about Tim Beck and the game plan. I think one of the things that's so cool is that Diego Pavia has been in this offense for a while. He's comfortable in it, and Tim Beck is comfortable with Diego Pavia to call the whole playbook's at your disposal.
Pavia, Beck, Jerry Kill all come over from New Mexico State. I remember week 1, we watched him against Virginia Tech, and I made a statement on this show, and I said, there's just little ways. I'm not saying he's as good as Johnny Manziel, and there's little ways he reminds me of Manziel. And I thought for a second, like on my way home that night, I'm like, did I really just say that? Hell yeah, I said that. He does remind me of Johnny Manziel in a lot of ways.
A lot of swag, and you know what else he is? He is the governor of the state of Alabama because he owns both schools in that state.
Yikes.
You got Auburn last year.
I detect no lies.
That's right.